ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Monday, February 2nd, 2026. It's Groundhog's Day. You know the rules of engagement. It's me and you for two. And that means it's the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. Hope you all had a great weekend and looking forward to a good Super Bowl week as well. We got so much to do today. We have Aaron Boone is going to join us. Aaron Boone is going to join us at 2 o'clock. So he is leaving for spring training today. So he will join us right before he gets on the plane. We look forward to going over some questions that Yankee fans might have and his thoughts about the upcoming 2026 season. Hope you all doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. And here we roll on this Monday. We start with the New York Knicks 112-100 over the Lakers, and the Knicks have won 6 straight games, and they look good. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that they had that awful loss to Dallas at Madison Square Garden, 114-97. It was revealed that Jalen Brunson had a very short meeting telling people to pick it up, and they have certainly picked it up since that time. 6 straight wins. They handle a Laker team quite easily, 112-100. And the thing that I like about it, if you take a look, Brunson did not have a great game when it comes to points. He was rough from the field, 11 for 15 for 12 points, but he just out 13 assists. So I take a look at when Brunson is not playing well and the team plays well, that's a good thing because he's going to play well. But occasionally when he has a bad game, it should not mean that the Knicks are going to have an awful, awful game. That was the case yesterday. And because his shot wasn't falling, he became a distributor. Now, you take a look at Cat. Cat just 11 points. He has not been lighting up the scoreboard of late, but he had 13 rebounds, 3 assists, and by the way, we all kill Cat. We all have a problem with Cat's game, and he has not played as well as he did last year when he was a third-team All-NBA. But you know what? He made the All-Star team, so the rest of the league realizes what this guy's all about. So although he's not having a great year, 20 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 2.9 assists for the season. I'll take it. It's not that bad. Remember, today's the 2nd. The NBA trade deadline is the 5th. So sit back, everybody, and ask yourself this question. Do you want to break up this team in order to get Giannis Antetokounmpo before the trade deadline? Now, I know everybody wants him at the end of the year. That's when I would want him. I would have much trepidation, everybody, to break this team up because you'd have to break it up. It's not just Cat that would be traded. It would be other important people that would be traded as the Knicks try to accrue enough draft capital in order to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. I watch this team, and when they're right, this team has the ability and has the talent and has the path to go to the NBA Finals. Win? I'm not sure they could win a best-of-7 series against the best team out of the Western Conference. Not sure. They have a chance, but I'm not sure. But I look at this team and tell me why they can't beat the Pistons, why they can't beat the Celtics, why they can't beat the Cavs, why they can't beat Orlando. I can keep going up and down the list of teams in the Eastern Conference that are going to make the finals. Why can't they beat them? So I'm pretty sure that as presently constructed, this team can win the 12 games necessary to get to the NBA final. Are they good enough to win the 16 games to win the title? My honest opinion at this point on February 2nd, I don't think they are. I don't think they are. Could they? Yes. Will they? Likely not. Likely not. And I don't think that there's any deal out there that will make them good enough to win the finals this year. Because if you make this trade for Antetokounmpo, you've broken up this team. You've given yourself about 2 months to get ready to win 16 games in the playoffs with some combination of Brunson and Antetokounmpo. I'm not sure that you can do it that fast. And if you lose an OG, or if you lose a Hart, or if you lose a Bridges in that deal, in addition to Cat, there's going to be a chemistry issue. It takes time to build cohesiveness. And we do have to take the owner at his word, because in the most recent interview that he gave, he said, we've always looked for the big, shiny toy. We're not going to do that this year. We're going to go about our business with what we have. We don't think we have to make any major moves. And remember, if you listened on Friday, Brian Windhorst was on with us, and he said at this point, from what he's hearing, it doesn't seem like the Knicks are moving heaven and earth to try to get the guy. It doesn't seem that way. And I think that's a good thing, because I think Leon Rose and company realizes that it's heavy lifting in order to get Antetokounmpo now. I would never turn my back on Antetokounmpo, but I will tell you this. If they make the trade before the 5th or at the deadline of the 5th, they're not going to be able to get to the finals this year. As great as Antetokounmpo is, and still you have the injury that I worry about, second calf injury this year, third calf injury in the last couple of years. I've told you this before. You're probably sick of hearing it. That sometimes is a precursor to an Achilles injury. All of that has to be thrown into the stew when you make the decision, we're going to make this move. There are teams that are more desperate to get him. Golden State is desperate to get him. Time is running out on Steph Curry's career. Jimmy Butler is hurt. He will not play for the rest of the year. They have no chance to win a championship as presently constructed. So because they want to get one more out of Curry, they are willing to mortgage their future and trade 4 future first-round draft picks. And that's a deal that is pretty attractive to a team like the Bucks, because those first-round draft picks that Golden State will give up in the future, they will probably be worth a lot, because Golden State might not be good for that long. Draymond's old. Curry is old. Now they'll try, I guess, to build around Antetokounmpo's 31, but how long does he have to be a dominant player? So I got a little bit off track here, because I'm talking about how good the Knicks have looked of late. After that Dallas win, you can again feel like this team has a chance. Hart had 20 points yesterday. OG has been unbelievable. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Pretty good. So he had a plus 21 rating and 34 minutes of play. He's been the Knicks' best player of late during this run. Shamet, unbelievable. Knicks was smart. He was smart not to have the surgery on his shoulder. Rehabbed it. Probably fragile, but so far it's held up. 23 points for him, hitting 6 threes. He is a weapon off the bench. And this is what we have for the Knicks moving up. Tomorrow you have the Wizards. So it's going to be 7 in a row. That will match their longest winning streak of the year. Then it gets interesting. Wednesday, Nuggets at the Garden. Now, no Jokic. Knicks should win that. Should be 8 in a row. And then it gets very, very interesting to me. February 6th at the Pistons. How good are the Knicks? We know the Pistons are the best team right now in the East. That'll be a great litmus test. Going to Detroit and playing the Pistons. February 8th, Celtics in Boston. Another good test. Celtics have been great this year, even without Tatum. Then on February 10th, at the Garden, the Pacers will come into town. That should be a win for the Knicks. And then February 11th, back-to-back, the Knicks go to Philly again to meet the Sixers. And they just beat the Sixers in Philly, so what will happen on the 11th? So those next 6 games, I would say if you could go, you're going to win the Pacer game, you're going to win the Wizards game. The other ones are tough. So the other 4, if you could split the other 4 and go 4-2, I mean, that's a home run in this stretch of time. An absolute home run. So Knicks 112. Lakers 100. They're 13 games over 500. And you should feel good about things right now. Feel good about things, because this is a good team. I don't know if we can classify it as a great team, but it is a good team. Let's talk. 1-800-919-3776. So before I get to your phone calls, this has to be addressed. It's not something that you like talking about on Sports Talk Radio, but boy, it's the elephant in the room in the entire country right now, involving people of power, and that is obviously the Epstein files that are slowly but surely, like a drip from an annoying faucet, making themselves known every day. More and more come out, more and more emails between Jeffrey Epstein and other people. And on Friday, after we were off the air, it came out that Giants co-owner Steve Tisch in 2013 was exchanging emails with Jeffrey Epstein about essentially procuring women for him. This was in 2013. That's 5 years, by the way, after Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting prostitution of an underage girl. So all those people that still kept an association with this animal, 5 years after he pleaded guilty to solicitation of an underage girl, they're just guilty with the association that they had with the man. They're just guilty for that. But there's so many layers to this that I don't understand, because I guess I'm a normal human being. Steve Tisch, who's a billionaire, who's the producer of such films as Forrest Gump, needs to go through Jeffrey Epstein to get women? Talk about a loser. He needs to go through another person to get women to be with him? Man, he must have some rap. But I don't even want to make light of this. Now the NFL has this thrown in its lap on the week before the Super Bowl. Now remember, the NFL handed down quite a punishment to John Gruden for emails that exposed Gruden saying terrible things about minorities. Awful things. And you know what? It's indefensible to do that. It's indefensible to think like that. But now compare the emails that Steve Tisch is sending with a guy who pleaded guilty to soliciting prostitution with an underage woman. By the way, the judge in Florida that gave him that sweetheart deal also has to be looked into. Again, I don't want to get into this on a sports talk show, which is supposed to be the candy store of the world, so we can get away from the insidious nonsense that goes on with the power brokers of the world. And this is not at all a political statement, but my goodness, who would you rather hang out with? John Gruden, who says awful things about other people, or Steve Tisch having a friendship 5 years after a guy pleaded guilty for the crimes that Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to? Who would you rather hang out with? Who do you think soils your reputation more? A friendship with John Gruden or a friendship with Steve Tisch? To me, Steve Tisch is radioactive, and he should have known that Jeffrey Epstein is radioactive. Not quite sure if they could make Tisch sell the team, because the Tisch family owns the team. He's just a point man. But in all likelihood, what Goodell's probably going to do is strip Steve Tisch of any forward-facing involvement with the Giants. How could this guy represent the Giants? Now, he's got siblings that are on the board of directors of the Giants, and the Tisch family owns 45% of the team. The Mara family owns 45% of the team, and Julia Koch just bought 10% of the team for $1 billion. And you can say, well, Robert Kraft wasn't disciplined for what he did. What Robert Kraft did is laughable in terms of the dark underbelly of the world compared to what Steve Tisch did. Again, a multi-billionaire needs to associate with Jeffrey Epstein in order to procure women. I mean, unbelievable that this goes on in this world. And one quick thing, again, not meaning to be political, because there are people from both sides of the aisle who should be embarrassed with themselves that they associated with this man. This isn't a Republican or a Democrat issue. This is an issue of people's morals and ethics. But anybody who had anything to do with underage women, because Jeffrey Epstein set it up, there's no punishment in my mind that is enough for the people that did something to a young, innocent girl. There is no punishment enough. And I mean none. You say death penalty, I go, yeah, I could see that. Imagine forcing yourself on an 11 or a 12-year-old in an age of innocence when their life should just be starting, and they have to do this. They're forced into this sort of thing. The depravity that goes on in our world that we're not even aware of, and only the release by the Department of Justice of these 3 million emails, and there's more to come, just illuminate slightly, shed some light on the ugliness that goes on behind the scenes. Because most people in the world are decent, moral human beings. We all have our failings. We're not angels. But there is an eyes wide shut thing going on in this world that we can't even imagine. And the only reason it is brought to the forefront of our brain is because of these emails actually illuminate what actually goes on in the world for these power brokers who think that they can do anything they want to any human being in order to elicit pleasure for themselves. Bonfire of the vanities. There's no punishment that's enough. None. I have a 13-year-old daughter. I can't even imagine. And some of these people, that the things they're accused of, and the association with a man who was so depraved, shows that they're depraved as well. So shame on Steve Tisch, who on Friday, after this thing broke, released this benign, ridiculous statement. A bad judgment, blah, blah, blah. You knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. All of these people knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. He made people money. He was a power broker, the Lolita Express, the Island, and all stuff like that. And the owner of the Giants was like hitting him up so he could get him women. Now, we have no idea whether these women that were, quote unquote, procured were of age. That brings it to another level where people actually should be charged with these crimes. But if it's just that he's associating with a lowlife like Jeffrey Epstein to get women, even if they were women of legal age, he should not be involved with the Giants in that way anymore. Let his brothers and sisters handle it. But shame on you, Steve Tisch. You knew exactly who this guy was. No surprise. Nothing is surprising in this. You knew exactly what this guy was. But you were so desperate and so needy, and you needed such help to actually go out on a date. Oh, it's sickening. Again, I don't want to make myself out to be an innocent, but when it comes to this, I'm an innocent. I can't even fathom the depravity of people in this world. Can't even fathom it. And some of the biggest names in the world that never had any kind of stain attached to them at all, they're associating with this monster. We live in some world. We really do. Wow. Absolutely wow. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. So let's go from that sick story to actually talking about the toy store again. Knicks, we'll talk with Aaron Boone at 2 o'clock, the whole deal. We will talk with Alan Patterson to start it off. Al.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Hello,
First
Al.
and foremost, I want to commend you for using your platform to just take a minute and highlight that, because I believe it takes guts for an individual with your positioning and how things of these comments can affect you. So a lot of people will shy away from doing what you just did. So I'll get off of that real quick and get to my point that I was going to make.
Okay.
But I'm not a Knicks fan, huge sports fan, actually a Suns fan, but I'm 46, been around for a little while. And me personally, if I had the GM seat, I am including the key point to this trade as far as from the Knicks, I would include Brunson. And the reason I would do that is because at Brunson, yes, he's the best player for the Knicks. But what Antetokounmpo brings, surpasses that so far on offense and defensively. Defensively, Brunson is a liability, and offensively, Antetokounmpo overshadows him by far.
I'll tell you what, though, if you're going to trade if you're going to trade Brunson, which the Knicks wouldn't do. I mean, we're talking silliness right now. If you're going to trade Brunson, why is Antetokounmpo coming here? They're not a championship level team with just Antetokounmpo. So look at how the Bucks have moved heaven and earth to try to get players that could help this guy win a championship, getting rid of players that did help him win a championship. They have done everything they possibly could to make this a viable roster. So if, in fact, Brunson is involved in a deal, the Knicks aren't good enough to win a championship. They're not. They're not. So you're removing Cat, you're removing Brunson. And I don't even think the Bucks want Brunson. What would they want a guy approaching 30? Why would they want him? They got 5 years of heavy lifting in order to get this done. So if you move Brunson from draft picks, okay, then you could send those draft picks to the Bucks. But Al, that's not happening. And really, for Antetokounmpo, doesn't it lose some of the allure to join the Knicks? I mean, we could talk about the negatives in Jalen Brunson's game, but there's really only one negative in his game, and that's that he's not a great defensive player. He's very adaptable when it comes to offensive things. He shares the basketball when he has to, and he's a bucket if you need him. So no, I wouldn't do that, Al. I wouldn't do it. And if you do something like that, there are only so many years in a window in order to win a championship. There are only so many years. And by making that sort of seismic trade where you're getting rid of Brunson and you're getting rid of Cat, right? You're eliminating 2025 and 2026 as a championship year. They have no chance. They have no chance. And then they have to rebuild back up next year in order to have a chance next year. This is the year that they have the best chance. No Halliburton, no Lillard, no Tatum. This is it. And you're going to give up the opportunity this year to reach the finals. For what? Why would you do that? I don't know how you do that. Let's go to Spike in St. Pete. Spike.
Well, props to you for that. I'll be 80 years old. I have granddaughters and daughters, and it's despicable. It really is. And you've taught me a lot in my lifetime about the candy store, and I'm choosing to step into the candy store. But happy birthday to you. Many more. Good health only, Michael. Trust me. Good health, and blessing your entire family. I only wish that on
Thank you, my
everybody.
friend. Thank you.
Well, you deserve it. You sent the stage and you book everything. All right, enough of the nice things to a high school science guy. What I saw last night, and I've seen for the last 5 games, the Knicks in the last 6 games have been the number 1 overall. Believe it or not, at my age, I know all these analytics. I have a lot of time on my hands, hopefully a lot more going forward. And I'll tell you something. Brunson couldn't make a shot. He had 13 assists last night. You cannot play better than Josh Hart and OG Anunoby played yesterday. Carl Anthony Towns, Big Cat, as they're called, he was moved a little bit on the weak side. In other words, it kept him from taking those 28 and 30-foot three-point shots. He gets rebounds. I think he's number 1 in the league rebounding-wise. But did you notice the subtlety? If the Knicks, just listen to this carefully, because I know you'll be able to say it much better than I am. if the Knicks are ahead by 3 or 4 possessions, so if they're ahead by as much as 9 points plus with 2 minutes to go in the game, he will not have Cat on the court. He'll have Mitchell Robinson on the court. That play in which Mitchell Robinson got 2 offensive rebounds, and I've been talking all year about how good a player Landry Shamet was. He was a terrific point guard at Wichita State, after those other guys from Wichita State. Mm-hmm. And he handles the ball well. He's your biggest guard. He's 6'5". He can put the ball on the deck. Have you noticed the defense he's playing?
It's been tremendous.
Right. And now, I don't want to do anything. I want to stay packed. I don't want to disrupt this team. I've heard rumors that they're keeping Deuce McBride on the bench. He doesn't have an ankle injury. You got a lot of guards. Even Tyler Kolek. Anyone they're going to get rid of will probably be Abaselli and Jordan Clarkson. They've become excess. For reasons, Abaselli played for France in the FIBA games, and Jordan Clarkson's been in the league 14 or 15 years, and he can score, but beyond that, he's not much. The Knicks are fine. I just said this to a few other people today who I talk basketball with. I would like to not have to go through Boston and Detroit, because I think Cleveland is inching their way up now. They made a very good trade getting Keon Clark and getting Dennis Schroeder back. They gave up DeAndre Hunter, who was a good player. He went to Sacramento. So I think if these last 6 games, not against the greatest competition, not against the bottom feeders. Here's the interesting part. They're playing back-to-back. They're catching Denver. You said Jokic is out for that game?
No, he came back, by the way. My buddy Kofi told me that he is, in fact, back. He got back this past Friday, so I missed that. So he will be back.
Okay, that's okay. You're entitled to a mulligan. What is happening is that they have to play at Detroit the night before. Now, I know the Knicks have to play against Washington. They're going to reverse Mitchell Robinson's rest day. They'll give him a rest day against Washington as opposed to doing it the other way, one less day, and they'll have him play against Denver, who's decimated. They got wiped out by OKC, but they had 4 starters out. What do you expect? Right. So I'm really happy with everything. I have a lot to look forward to. This is the window. The next 2 years, this is the window. I agree with you 100%. I don't think they can beat OKC. I think Denver's a threat to at full strength, and maybe Houston. Are you in the camp with me?
I am in the camp. Again, I don't feel great about them winning a title, Spike, but I feel really good about them getting out of the Eastern Conference. And for a team that hasn't been there in a quarter of a century, I'll take it. And then you take your chance. Maybe OKC gets knocked out. And we saw last year what injuries do to a team. I mean, you don't root for it. That's not the sporting thing to do. But a major person on a team could get hurt and miss the entire series. So you can't give up on things like that. If you break the Knicks up right now in order to make a deal like this, they might not be able to this year get out of the East. And I think that's what Leon Rose is looking at. This is our entry point to get into the finals. And in the finals, anything can happen. Did anybody think that Indiana would take OKC as far as they did? But they did. They did. So I'm going to leave this team with the major parts the way it is. And if they trade Yabusele and they trade Clarkson, I'll deal with it. That's fine. They're peripheral pieces, but none of the major pieces. Let this team try to accomplish what it's built to accomplish. And again, thank you to Kofi. I didn't realize that Jokic came back on Friday and scored 31 points in his game back against the Clippers, like he never missed any time at all. So that game against the Nuggets becomes a very difficult one for the Knicks. Time to talk. 1-800-919-3776. I will tell all of you this. We were going to have Steve Young on, as we always do on Monday, but he's not able to do today's show because he is the coach for the upcoming Pro Bowl festivities. The coach of the other team is Jerry Rice, so they're working out right now. He's not going to join us. You're going to join me. You're going to be the co-host for this next half hour, and then at 2 o'clock, it's going to be Aaron Boone to talk some Yankee baseball as he prepares to leave for Tampa to begin spring training as the Yankees' quest for 28 begins again. 1-800-919-3776. It is the K Show, rolling until 3 right here on ESPN New York.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 Cardiology, Heart, and Vascular Surgery Rankings.
Benjamin Franklin, sir, I've just received news.
Speak.
They're multiplying you.
Multiplying me?
Yes, many times.
Multiple Benjamins?
Shall I stop it?
No.
Multiply your Benjamins with New York Lottery's Extra Multiplier Scratch-Off games. Play for the chance to multiply your winnings up to 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I've won! I've multiplied myself!
We won!
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
Guys, quick PSA, forgetting Valentine's Day flowers is not the move. Trust me, this is why I go to the Bouquet Company every time. Bouquet delivers modern bouquets fresh to her door. Plus, with my code CANTY, you get 25% off. Bouquet's flowers are cut fresh from the best farms in the world, so you get bigger, brighter blooms that last way longer. They've got incredible flowers, even roses grown on the side of a volcano. And the best part? Bouquet's makes it easy. Pick the bouquet, the delivery date, and you're done. No last-minute panic. That's why Bouquet's has over 50,000 five-star reviews. And listen, even if she says, "Don't get me anything," that doesn't mean no flowers. Flowers still score. Every time. Valentine's Day is February 14th, right after the big game, so don't fumble this. Order now. Go to Bouquets.com, use my promo code CANTY for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code CANTY. Bouquets, promo code CANTY.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is making every moment of Super Bowl 60 count with DraftKings Live Millions, featuring over $5 million in prizes. Here's how it works. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and get your promo token. Place a live bet of $1 or more on the Super Bowl, and you're in. And every live bet means another shot to win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WHSQ. That's code WHSQ. Bet live for your share of $5 million in prizes with code WHSQ. In partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY and 467-369. 21 and over. New York only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Minimum odds minus 500. Prizes either bonus bets or single use 20% profit boost. Max bet $20 that expire in 30 days. See official rules at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for entry period and free method of entry. Sponsored by Crown Gaming, Inc.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Yankees manager Aaron Boone joins the Michael Kay Show live today at 2 p.m. on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Can I take your coat?
Oh, you noticed. Yeah, I found it on eBay from a seller in Vegas. Pre-loved and perfect. She listed it and jackpot. Italian leather. Classic trench silhouette. And did you see the braided buckle?
Hang on to your claim ticket.
Oh, I'll hang on to this forever. Have you been on eBay? There's so many finds. And I bet that diving watch would sell fast. Just saying.
Find what you love. Sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. The K Show until 3 here on Groundhog Day. By the way, the groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, saw his shadow. So that means that there are 6 more weeks of winter. Is it scientific? No, but I don't doubt it. The weather, the way it's been, how it's bitingly cold every single day, doesn't seem to be a break in the future. I could buy that. There's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. So thanks, Phil. He popped out of his hole. They kind of shook him out of his hibernation. He saw the shadow, and boom. Did you hear the story? Remember a couple of years ago when then mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, dropped the groundhog, or when they were doing the whether he sees a shadow or not? That groundhog died, like right away after he was dropped by Bill de Blasio. Just thought I'd tell you that. Another positive note on the show. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Andrew in Long Island. Andrew.
Hey, Michael. How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
We don't need no groundhog to tell us what this weather is going to be like for the next 6 weeks. I can tell you that.
It's brutal. Brutal.
But I want to say something with the Knicks. But before I do, the stuff you brought up about with Tisch, it's a shame what goes on in this country because you see Priscilla Presley, she was 14 dating Elvis. Natalie Wood was 15 dating Wagner. They would have parades for them all across the country. Everyone accepted it. And this is why it's so messed up, because everyone accepted it. But you know what scares me the most? Steve Tisch should be dismissed, definitely, because who's his Jeffrey Epstein now? Who's his guy to go to now? That's scary.
You do wonder if there's another Jeffrey Epstein out there.
Yes, very scary. I'm sure there's hundreds, thousands of them probably, unfortunately. But listen, on to the Knicks. I agree with you. The Knicks shouldn't make any major trade right now, especially for the Greek. No way. Wait till the end of the year. This guy's hurt. When do you start trading for players that are hurt? You know what I'm saying? So I think they really should go for a three-point player because the Knicks need three-point shooters. Now, I know McBride is probably their best three-pointer, and Shamet, definitely, wow, he really hit the threes last night. But if they get another three-point player, or maybe even 2 if they can, I think that would help them, and they don't have to trade a major player in order to do it, get ready for the playoffs.
Well, I don't think they're going to be able to make a trade of that sort where they're able to bring in a big-time three-point shooter. I think they have enough three-point shooting. I mean, Cat's an extraordinarily good three-point shooter, even at his size. From the corners, OG's an unbelievable three-point shooter. Same with Mikal Bridges, again, from the corner shot, which is the shortest three. And Brunson in his own way is an outstanding three-point shooter. So, yeah, they don't need that. They'd like it off the bench, but that could be Shamet. McBride has missed mysteriously like 3 or 4 games because of ankle management. Maybe he is involved in some sort of deal they make. I don't see the Knicks making a big deal. And the biggest deal would be Antetokounmpo. I don't see them making that. And if they're not going to get Antetokounmpo, they might have enough right now. David on the east side. David.
All right, Michael, before I make my point about Harbaugh and the Giants, something you ought to ask Boone when he comes on the show today. Is there any plan to stop switch hitting Jason Dominguez? I mean, if you look at his numbers from the right side, they're just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
He throws right-handed, too. So, and when you switch
he's a natural right-handed hitter. That's what's up. He's a natural right-handed hitter.
Right?
Yeah.
He is a natural right-handed hitter, but if you look at the numbers, he is not. I just don't think he's a switch hitter.
Well, I'll run it by him, but I mean, they're not going to take him away from his natural side. And, when you talk to Yankee people about it, you see so many more right-handed pitchers, so he's gotten so many more swings left-handed. That's why he struggles from the right side. But, I mean, so many problems would be solved, David, if he could hit well from the right side. If he could hit well from the right side, they wouldn't have to be looking maybe to bring in a Randall Grichuk or somebody like that. They wouldn't need the right-handed outfielder. It would be Jason Dominguez. So it does pose some problems for them.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. I'm curious to see what he says. Anyway, some food for thought. Do you think Harbaugh takes the Giants job if the Steve Tisch stuff breaks beforehand?
I'm not quite sure. My guess, David, would be he's there because of the Mara family, not so much the Tisch family, although the Tisch family owns as much of the Giants as the Mara family. But it seems like the Mara family is more front-facing ownership in this group. I can't speak for Harbaugh if he is, in fact, sickened by Tisch's involvement with Epstein. My guess is that he's here because of John and Chris Mara, not because of Steve Tisch. But would the indiscretions of Tisch push him away because he wouldn't want to be involved? I don't know. I mean, because honestly, he can. If he was so sickened by it, he could step away right now if he wanted to. Because I don't want to be involved with this, and they'd probably release him out of his contract. But I think it's his allegiance with the Maras that got him here more than anything involving Tisch. Let's go to Billy in Summit. Billy?
Hey, Michael. Thanks for taking the call.
You got it. What's up?
I was So I was wondering, with all of the Giannis trade talks, and I've been thinking about this since the summer when it first came up, why is Jalen Brunson never on the table in any of the trade talks? I know, his money doesn't quite work out as well if you're going for a highly paid star, but I just think if you were flipping Brunson into Giannis, Giannis's offensive production is better, and defensively he's a million times better. Mm-hmm. So, I love Jalen Brunson. He's an awesome star, and he's one of my favorite players, but I just think X's and O's in basketball, why is it never talked about, including Brunson in any of these trade talks?
All right, let me bat this back and forth with you. Maybe you could illuminate me. Every single championship team has two great players. So if you remove Brunson and you put Antetokounmpo in, and I would assume to make the salaries work, Cat would have to go somewhere as well. Who's the second guy? Who's the second great player on the Knicks if you bring Antetokounmpo in? Antetokounmpo would essentially be in the same situation he's in with Milwaukee, where he's far and away the best and there's no number two.
Well, in that scenario, in trading Brunson, I would want to keep Cat. But I think I still like a team with Giannis,
but you don't think Cat
OG,
and Giannis
Cat
would be somewhat cumbersome in terms of having them both on the floor? Because to me, Cat's a worse defender than Brunson is.
Well, he's a much better three-point shooter, which would help Giannis. Mm-hmm. And then all of the defensive stuff, Giannis can clean up a lot of his defensive shortcomings, assuming you keep Robinson as well. I think that's a real problem lineup for teams to deal with. If it was Giannis, Cat, and Mitchell Robinson out on the floor at the same time, that's a problem for most teams with the spacing you get from Cat and then the matchup problems that Giannis creates.
And I think there's another aspect to this, Billy, as well. And I don't think you do this. Nobody remains on a team because of scholarship. But, Brunson left a lot of money on the table when he signed his last contract, just so the Knicks could continue to put players around him, pay them, stay under the second apron. You're going to kick him in the teeth and trade him? I don't think they would. He has been the linchpin to turn this team from a laughingstock into one of the great teams in the NBA. I don't see them doing it. And I don't see the value in having Antetokounmpo, Cat, and Mitchell Robinson. Who's going to be your point guard? Deuce McBride? Tyler Kolek? You do have to have a point guard, right? And if you're going to trade Brunson, his salary doesn't match with Antetokounmpo's. So then you'd have to trade either a Mikal Bridges or an OG Anunoby to make it work. Where the Knicks are on their apron right now, they've got to bring in less salary than they send out. What he would be replacing has to be less than what he's replacing. It can't even be equal. So it's not less than what Brunson is. So then you'd have to add another important piece. And all of a sudden you're going to be a front court heavy team. I'm not sure that works. And I'm not sure that you'd have all three on the floor at the same time. It's an interesting concept, but I think we're kind of wasting our breath. I don't think they're trading Brunson. I think there's 0% chance of it. And that's why it's off the table. They need a point guard. He has been a great soldier. He's been the linchpin of turning things around. He really left so much money on the table, which at the time I thought was curious because you never know if Leon Rose is not here when this contract is up, or is he going to be rewarded? Because everybody said, well, he just pushed his big bag down the road and he'll make up for it later. Well, we don't know what happens later. We don't know if there's an injury. We don't know if there's a different front office that has a different feeling. We don't know if there's a different coach. And there is a different coach than the one that he did that for. So I do not think they'd kick him in the teeth and trade him. I don't think it would be wise anyway. Because, again, you need two great players at least on a championship team. And although OG's outstanding and Bridges is a really good player and Cat's outstanding, he probably would be a great player. Having two great front court guys, I'm not sure that gets it done on a championship run. 1-800-919-3776. That is the number. We've got so much to do today. We have Aaron Boone coming up, as I mentioned, a little bit later on at 2 o'clock, so we want you here for that, as the Yankee manager will set out for Tampa today to begin spring training with his team. 1-800-919-3776. It's the K Show until 3 right here on ESPN New York.
Hi, this is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. I've talked about how a construction accident took my father's leg. The heavy prosthetic he wore looked nothing like the high-tech limbs we have today. It was crude wood and metal. held together by bolts that dug into his skin and left painful ulcers. But the thing I remember about my dad is how he never complained. He put on his prosthetic leg and he went to work. He coached my baseball teams, danced, sang karaoke, and even loved to travel. He may have limped, but he always held his head up high and he lived with dignity. At D'Agostino & Associates, I spent over 35 years building a law firm that helps accident victims and those in need of their Social Security disability benefits. We fight till our clients get the money and dignity they deserve. So call us today at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey. So don't tell me personal injuries aren't personal. I know what they can cost a family. I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law. Bite Back.
Looking for the best meat and seafood at unbeatable prices? Get to Wild Fork Foods. They offer the widest selection of meats and seafoods you'll find anywhere. Everything is blast frozen to lock in flavor and nutrients. From beef and poultry to seafood, pork, and even exotic and game meats, you'll get the best value for your buck. Visit one of their 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or order online for same-day delivery at wildforkfoods.com. Wild Fork Foods, your neighborhood's meat and seafood market.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player in the big game to score the first touchdown, but his teammate scores instead. With BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the big game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line with BetMGM's Second Chance. Try a first TD scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus years of age or older to wager and physically present in New York only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds.
Listen, I know the mentality. You try to play through pain and walk it off. Push through one more day. But when it comes to neck pain, back pain, sciatica, or nerve pain, that's a losing game. That's when you call Dr. J. Shaw at Sandwell Pain. Dr. Shaw is one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and he focuses on non-surgical solutions that get real results. No cuts, no downtime, no dependence on pain meds. He builds you a custom game plan for you so that you can move better, feel better, and live pain-free. Same day or next day appointments are available. Visit SandwellPain.com. Stop managing pain. Start beating it.
Knicks fans, it's time for basketball, and the action starts on Wednesday at Pig Beach with Team ESPN New York and Ultra. Whether you need a pregame spot or you're looking for the right Knicks bar to watch the game versus the Nuggets, Pig Beach is your destination. The party tips off at 7 p.m. Team ESPN will be giving away plenty of ESPN, Ultra, and Knicks prizes. Join fellow Knicks fans on Wednesday night at 3537 36th Street, ground floor in Astoria. Cheer on your Knicks, enjoy Ultra draft and bottle specials, and cool prizes all game long at Pig Beach in Astoria.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-750-2525. That's 800-750-2525. Again, that's 800-750-2525.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
Well, it doesn't get more New York than this. Wild Turkey Bourbon is giving you the chance to score the ultimate New York game day. One lucky winner scores a pair of tickets to opening day in the Bronx and New York Knicks tickets both on Friday, April 3rd. 2 games, 1 epic day, no compromises. To enter, find the contest tile on the ESPN New York app and submit your entry or sign up in person at select Wild Turkey events happening around the city. Brought to you by Wild Turkey Bourbon. When you know it's right, don't change a damn thing. Must be 21 or over. Enjoy Wild Turkey responsibly. Let's go back to the phone calls. Remember, Aaron Boone will join us at 2 o'clock, the Yankee manager, before he heads down to spring training. Ryan in Manhattan. Ryan.
Hey, Michael. I wanted to ask briefly regarding the Yankees and get your input, because to me the Yankees seem to be just fixing or improving the areas where they're already the strongest. So just an easy example here, you split it up into four parts, starters and bullpen and outfield and infield. And to me, they have great starters, and everyone's just like, oh, they need to go sign, Freddie Peralta or trade for Freddie Peralta, or they need to get a new starter. And when they already have so much depth, and to me, the bullpen is the weakest issue, and the bullpen in the infield. And now they're talking about getting Paul Goldschmidt, and the outfield. They got, I like the Bellinger signing, but to me, their outfield is already pretty strong with Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones. And so now, have they?
Well, let me stop you for a second. You've never seen Spencer Jones play. How do you know that? And Jason Dominguez can't hit right-handed. So if they didn't bring back Bellinger, they're in a little bit of a pickle, Ryan.
Sure. But to me, they're the 2 top, prospects, if you want to say that. They don't really have any infield prospects that, to my understanding, will be ready for 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I was a little confused why they wanted it. Yeah, and so to me, it was just a little bit confusing why they didn't want to really improve the infield and why they wanted to improve the outfield.
All right, so who would you have gotten for the infield?
So I called and I was just like, hey, what about Ketel Marte? Nico Horner, maybe. But to me, Ben Rice is the only sure thing in the infield, and now they're talking about getting Paul Goldschmidt. When catcher is a big, a big question mark to me. Third base is, obviously shortstop is. And, Jazz, I love Jazz, but against left-handed pitching, I think he had like a 730 OPS. And so in the infield, Rice is the only one, in my opinion, who has a shot in hell of getting to 900 OPS or more. And so I'm just a little confused why they're improving these areas. So I just want to get your
let's talk about Jazz. Jazz had a 30-30 season last year, and he missed essentially 2 months of the year. So they don't look at him as a question mark at all. Obviously, you don't feel strongly about Volpe. They continue to do so, and he might not be a great hitter. He's going to be hit at the bottom of the lineup, but Ryan McMahon could field with anybody at third base. So the things, Ryan, that you're looking at in terms of weaknesses, they don't look at it in terms of weaknesses. And if they did bring a Paul Goldschmidt back, he would be facing tough lefties, really tough lefties, and give Rice a little bit of a blow. But Rice is going to be the everyday first baseman. And, they wouldn't be paying Goldschmidt a lot. The negative about bringing Goldschmidt back is that he plays one position, and that's first base, and obviously could DH as well. So you would not have brought back Bellinger because you feel secure about Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. Well, you mentioned both of them, right? They're both essentially left-handed hitters, so only one of them would play. So by signing back Bellinger, they're essentially turning Jason Dominguez into trade bait or sending him down to the minor leagues. So, and you talk about their bullpen, they feel good about their bullpen. And yes, they do have good starting pitching, but getting Weathers was a masterstroke because you're not going to have Rodon for the first month. Those are 4 starts you have to make up. And you're not going to have Cole for 2 months. So those are essentially 8 to 10 starts you're going to have to make up. So, and then once those starts are made up by a guy like Weathers, he can go into the bullpen because his stuff transitions well coming out of the bullpen. They feel better about their bullpen than you do. I mean, I can't tell you how to feel about it, but the things that you're looking at as weaknesses, they obviously don't. Because all the weaknesses that you just said, right, their team last year led the majors in runs scored. And when you say lefty, I mean, if I had a complaint about the Yankees, they're too lefty. But their left-handed hitters were 4th in baseball. Fourth best team in baseball in terms of OPS plus for left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching. So it's not as bad as you think. And I keep bringing this, again, if you listen every day, I love you, thank you for doing that. And you probably roll your eyes, but, I mean, I have to address this issue all the time. They led the league in runs scored. They led the majors in runs scored. So all these negatives that you keep saying about their lineup, they weren't last year. They led the majors in runs scored. And that's how you keep scoring the game. You want to score the most runs. They scored the most runs. And, we had a guy battle me on this because I looked it up. I said, well, maybe I'm hallucinating. Oh, they don't beat 500 teams. They were 32-30 against teams over 500. So what you want to do when you're putting together a team is have your team play 500 against teams that are 500 or better and beat up on the bad teams. This is exactly what they do. So they're executing exactly the way they're designed to execute. And the guy called up and said, no, you're wrong on that. No, I'm not wrong on it. Look at the stats. 32-30 against teams 500 or better. That's pretty good. And if you expect them to beat up on teams over 500, no, they expect to beat up on everybody too. As you neutralize the teams that are great, and then you beat up on the teams that are bad. That's how you accrue 94 wins. We'll talk to Aaron Boone about some of this in just a moment. Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., Islanders are in Washington to play the Capitals. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Let's go to Lori in Virginia. What's up, Lori?
Hi, Michael. How are you? Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good. I'm a huge Yankee fan. I'm living in Virginia right now. I'm from New York, Long Island. I love the Yankees back from the 70s. My biggest fan was Bucky Dent, Posada, and all them. But I'm just calling just to say happy birthday to you. You met my son a long time ago, I think last year, and you signed a $20 bill for him. And my daughter-in-law, it's her birthday also, and she's a huge fan of yours also. Just
What's her
looking forward
name?
to having a great season with the Yankees. Allie.
Well, Allie, happy birthday. Lori, big hug for me. Thank you for calling in just to wish me a happy birthday. I appreciate that. Coming up in a moment, Aaron Boone, so stay tuned for that. Hey, last call for football. FanDuel giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today's 30% profit boost is on passing yards, over, under, and alternate passing yards. Drake May against the Seahawks defense. How many yards do you think he's going to throw for? Think Sam Darnold will continue to impress. All you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is making every moment of Super Bowl 60 count with DraftKings Live Millions, featuring over $5 million in prizes. Here's how it works. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and get your promo token. Place a live bet of $1 or more on the Super Bowl, and you're in. And every live bet means another shot to win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WHSQ. That's code WHSQ. Bet live for your share of $5 million in prizes with code WHSQ. In partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY and 467-369. 21 and over. New York only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Minimum odds minus 500. Prizes either bonus bets or single use 20% profit boost. Max bet $20 that expire in 30 days. See official rules at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for entry period and free method of entry. Sponsored by Crown Gaming Inc.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Benjamin Franklin, sir, I've just received news.
Speak.
They're multiplying you.
Multiplying me?
Yes, many times.
Multiple Benjamins?
Shall I stop it?
No.
Multiply your Benjamins with New York Lottery's extra multiplier scratch-off games. Play for the chance to multiply your winnings up to 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I've won! I've multiplied myself!
We won!
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite awards show, and so much more beyond the playing field. Trade events with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Out on the course, they're the PGA Tour's best players. But in the arena, they're prime time. And Season 2 of TGL presented by SoFi is back with lights, cameras, action. We're talking big moments, big personalities, big names in the stands, all on the big screen. Big-time matchups with shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, overtime, and playoffs. It's city versus city, squad versus squad. The sport just hits different under the lights. It's TGL presented by SoFi. Keep up. It's golf. Tune into every match. Only on ESPN.
Life is full of choices, some big, some small. And when you choose an H&R Block Tax Pro, you're choosing the largest network of tax expertise to be in your corner. For when your big ambitions need help with the small details. For when your six figures come from 6 different places. For when your gaming stream becomes your revenue stream. For when your business's year one needs 70 years of tax know-how. At H&R Block, we've seen it all, and we're here to help you make the most out of your money for life outside the box. Get started at hrblock.com.
Back to the show. Tonight, Aaron Boone heads to Tampa to begin spring training with the Yankees, his 9th season as manager of the Yankees, as they look to snare their 28th World Championship. And he is nice enough to join us now. I'm sure he's all packed and ready to go to the airport. Aaron, how you doing, man?
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. How do you feel about this team? Nice, easy question to start off.
I feel really good. We're excited. Obviously we've got a lot of people that, I felt so very good about at the end of last season. So I've kind of said out loud a lot that, it was one of my most difficult seasons to get over. The end was tough because I do feel like we were kind of peaking at the right time. We were healthy at the right time. I felt like we had a team that could go get it done, and to get bounced. Blue Jays, who were kind of our kryptonite last year, was difficult. But I feel good that we have a chance to get back to there and hopefully flip the script on it. But that being said, too, it's February 2nd, and when we got a lot of work to do just to get back to that point and to put ourselves in a position to take our shot again, hopefully in October baseball.
And I remember you said this publicly, but you also said it privately, so you weren't whitewashing it. You really felt great about that team moving into the postseason. It was a tough series against the Red Sox, and then you lost against the Blue Jays. So what do you think went wrong, Aaron, in that postseason?
Look, I think it was a case of a series playing a really good team that caught us. We had a hard time. We gave up a ton of runs in that series. They kind of just had our number and beat us. I mean, simple as that. But I felt like the moves that we made, at the trading deadline really kind of finished off our roster in a really strong way, because I think for the first half of the season, while we were good, I felt like we needed to do some things that kind of finished off and complemented our roster. And I felt like we were able to do that, and just felt like we were in a really good place there at the end of the season. And for it to not happen, is one of those things that makes it difficult to get over.
Now, one of the big differences for the 2026 team from last year is that you're going to have one of the great right-handed pitchers of this era, Garrett Cole, back. And, we're looking maybe at June 1st. I'm not sure. Is there any trepidation on your part, Aaron? Are you getting back vintage Cole? Do you have any idea? Can you even establish that? Or you just cross your fingers because he's coming back from a serious surgery?
Sure. I mean, tough to say. I mean, the one thing we've seen over the last, decades is, most guys do pretty well in coming back from Tommy John. I will say that, Garrett's rehab has gone well. It's gone according to plan. He's hit all his benchmarks and then some. So we're very optimistic. And then you couple that with, Garrett's greatness, and really he's known nothing other than being, an ace in the league. So, there may be some bumps as he's coming back and getting built up and, getting back to full strength, and that may happen over time. We'll see. It's impossible to predict that. All I know is, the rehab process itself has gone pretty well for Garrett.
Jack Curry and I had on Matt Blake, your pitching coach, on the Hot Stove Show on Yes, and he admitted that there are some guys with heavy innings workloads last year. Are you going to handle those guys differently? Is there some trepidation that, wow, I hope that doesn't manifest itself this year? Guys like Fried, guys like Schlittler, guys like Warren, they pitched innings they never pitched before.
Yeah, hopefully that's something that is a good thing, in that it's given them a benchmark of having, as a guy coming back from injury, pitched 0 innings or 30 innings in a prior year.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're asking them to go pitch 150, 180. Those are the ones that you get a little concerned about sometimes. Look, it's not an exact science, obviously. So, I do feel like we've, the front office has done a really good job of creating some depth, and hopefully over time, hopefully Carlos Rodon being down the first, few weeks of the season, hopefully is something that serves him well in the long haul. That does limit that innings a little bit. And I think with some of the depth that we've built up, hopefully not only create some competition, but also, put us in a position to handle, whatever's going to come as the season unfolds from a pitching standpoint.
One of the great bright spots for you, Aaron, last year was Cam Schlittler when he came up. I mean, he was dominant. He was dominant in that game, that ultra-high pressurized game against the Red Sox. How do you think his stuff plays out over hopefully 32 starts?
Yeah, I'm excited, and hopefully it is 32 starts. Look, I think, obviously that game gets a lot of attention, understandably so, but you look at his body of work, even, kind of dominated in AA and AAA last year before getting the call, and came up to the big leagues. And I don't know how many was it, 7, 8, 9, 10 starts, something like that down the stretch for us. And he pitched really well in those outings as well. So he was really, really consistent with his body of work last year, capping it off with kind of a historic performance against the Red Sox there in the playoffs. And, we're excited of what he can be moving forward. We love his makeup. We love his competitiveness. And he's one of those, many guys that have had a good winter. He's down in Tampa, has been now for about a month. And, that's one of the good things that's really happened over the last few years, is the number of our guys that are, in Tampa, going into Himes, for weeks and even in some cases months ahead of time on a daily basis. I think Aaron Judge is being down there has kind of fostered a really good culture and environment where guys love to come in, and it allows our, coaches, player development guys that are in and around it to have their hands on guys and make sure guys are, especially from a pitching standpoint, hitting their marks in the off season.
There was a picture today, I don't know if you saw it, Aaron, of maybe 12 or 14 of your guys led by Aaron Judge at the NHL Stadium Series game at Raymond James. What does that mean to you in terms of that team being so together and Judge being such an important part? I'm not saying that a manager, designs that, but it must be really good for you to have a guy that's almost like the same mind as you that the team rallies around.
Well, it's something that is really, really important to Aaron and I, that we have the strongest possible group and room that we can possibly have. It's not a given every year, and I try to make sure I address that early on. Is you can't take for granted that we're going to be a tight knit together strong group. You got to work at that. You got to invest in that just like you do in your game. And that starts in spring training. And Aaron is just so amazing at pulling guys together. There's a humility to him. There's obviously a reverence that guys have for him. And he takes a lot of pride in making sure that everyone feels a part of it. Everyone feels like they can be themselves. And, it's a credit to who he is as a person, and the kind of leader and just what it means to him. And I have not seen that picture you're talking about. Now that you've said it, I can't wait to go look for it and check it out, but it fires me up, and a ton of our guys are down there, and a lot of it has to do with Aaron being there.
Let's talk about your bullpen. You mentioned, I thought Brian had an excellent trade deadline last year, and you changed the bullpen on the fly. So there's no Devin Williams, there's no Luke Weaver, but Bednar closed out the season very well. Do you feel that this bullpen could be a strength for this team?
I think it could be. I think there are questions. We were excited about how Camilo Duvall finished the season with us. Thought he was throwing the ball really well towards the end of the year, and into the playoffs. And he's another one of those guys that's had a really good winter. Obviously what Fernando Cruz was for us last year, Timmy Hill, and what he continues to be. And then we're really excited about the Brent Hedricks of the world, the Yeri De Los Santoses that we know are going to play a good role, the Blackburn, Yarbrough, and what they can bring in different kind of roles down there. And then hopefully with some of the depth that we've acquired or have in the mix, that eventually you're in a position to where maybe someone that's pitching well out of the rotation has to kind of collapse in the pen and gives you another weapon in that regard. And then we feel like we have 3 or 4 prospects that are really at the higher levels that are knocking on the door, that have a chance to not only impact us potentially from a rotation standpoint, but maybe in their first crack at it, maybe in a relief situation at some point of the year. So I like our depth. You're always that depth, is always going to be tested and found out about. So hopefully we have a couple of guys that merge into some real leverage spots for us in the bullpen. So I think there's some unknowns down there, but we're excited about too.
Any concern, Aaron, that your team is too left-handed? Now, I will say this, of your left-handed batters, they were 4th last year in OPS plus against left-handed pitching, 4th in all of baseball.
Yeah.
So they can handle left-handed pitching, but you like to like to balance your lineup. Are they too left-handed?
I always want another righty, which a few years ago we were saying it the other way. We were too right-handed and we needed some lefties. So, obviously bringing Rosario back early in the off season, was a little bit under the radar, but I know for me personally was something that was very important for me. I just feel like he's he fits our roster and balances us so well, and hopefully, plays up just because he's going to be in some situations where we're netting him some really good left-handed matchups throughout the year. I still think there's a possibility that we bring somebody in that kind of, from a utility standpoint, that adds to the mix, whether that's in the infield, outfield. Having Caballero now for a full year. So I do feel like we have some really good right-handed options that are either, starters or part-timers that have a chance to play really significant roles, especially because we are very left-handed.
Obviously, I'm not going to belabor this interview by saying how important it was to bring back Bellinger, but by bringing back Bellinger and then with Grisham accepting the qualifying offer, your outfield is set. So, Aaron, does that turn Jason Dominguez into a Scranton Wilkes-Barre player?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would say the same way I started. It's February 2nd. I think Jason, for all the talk last year, gained a lot of really good experience last year. He had 430 plate appearances. He did a lot of things really well. He continues to improve defensively. I think he's going to be a really good player in this league. And, a lot can happen between now and opening day. So you never know how it all shakes out. But I still have very high hopes for Jason coming off of what was a productive 22-year-old season, for him really getting his first crack at full-time, in the big leagues.
And Jason, by the way, is part of that picture as well at the hockey game last night. I want to know, because you're so good at communicating with your players.
That's awesome.
Have you, in fact, called up Jason and laid out what could happen with him, or is that going to be a conversation you have once you get down there?
I have not spoken to him since we brought back Belly or whatever. So, we'll get down there and competition's always a good thing. And, hopefully having a lot of really good players and options brings out the best in a lot of different people. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
Looks like Ben Rice is your first baseman. He had such a good year last year, and the underlying numbers are actually better than the numbers that we saw, which were excellent as well. Is he your everyday first baseman, or would you feel more comfortable if you had a righty that could play first base every now and then?
No, I expect him, Benny, to be the everyday first baseman. We think he's going to be, a premier slugger in the middle of the lineup in this league. I think he started to show that last year. We think he has the ability to handle left-handed pitching. That doesn't mean he won't get a day off here and there against a lefty, depending on what exactly your roster looks like. We'll keep them catching in the mix to some degree, but right now I see him as, that third catcher where he just kind of protects you late in the game. If you make a move that, he kind of has that ability to cover, but we have him focusing a lot on first base right now with the idea that, he's going to be that guy in the middle of the order that we're counting on big things from Ben Rice.
It's so weird the way baseball happens. Aaron, you've lived it your whole life, but when Austin Wells came up, he was supposed to be a great offensive player, struggled defensively. He's been a revelation defensively, but he really struggled offensively. Although, if you look at his numbers, it's not as bad as we think. Can he be better offensively, or is this the level that he's found?
Yeah, I expect him to be better because, look, I think if you saw your catcher and he's hitting 20 homers a year and like you said, providing the defense that he has, I think he kind of sign up for that. That being said, I'm still expecting a lot more out of Austin, and I've talked to him about this. Like I said, look, you're in what you've shown. You've had some success offensively at the big league level, but hopefully finding that next level of consistency where he can be that real offensive threat that I think he's capable of being, and hopefully he starts to realize that potential this year.
Ryan McMahon was startling how good he was defensively, but he did struggle offensively. Aaron, is there more there offensively with your third baseman?
I think there is. He's a great athlete, real power, real ability to control his zone. we got to cut down on some of the swing and miss. He's made some adjustments this offseason, with kind of narrowing his stance and approach a little bit that hopefully unlock him a little bit. He's another guy that I feel like was in a pretty good place at the very end of the year. And you look at his at-bats in the playoffs, I thought they were really good and really competitive, even against some tough lefties. I'm hoping there's more in there, because I think the talent is very real, but, he's also, struggled to find that next level of kind of all-star level consistency, and hopefully we can unlock some of that.
Let's talk Volpe. You've always been on his side. And, if you look at his season, it's kind of odd. Like, before he hurt his shoulder, it looked like the hitter everybody expected him to be when he was coming out of the minors. Then he hurt his shoulder, and we don't know how much the shoulder affected what he did. Is there more there? Is there more there offensively, Aaron?
Oh, I similar to Austin. These are two guys that we feel like have a chance to be really good offensive players in this league. So that hasn't happened to this point. There's been a lot of success. There's been a lot of valleys too. Getting to a certain level, as a big league player is about, shrinking up some of those valleys, and we got to hopefully get there. I absolutely think it's in there. But time will tell. We got to go prove it, and hopefully this is the year that it does pop for him, to where he finds that next level of offensive consistency that he's flashed, but hasn't held throughout the year.
Are you worried, or maybe even looking forward to having to make a decision if Caballero's your starting shortstop in April as Anthony comes back from surgery, and at the end of April Caballero's hitting .345? Are you giving the job back to Volpe?
Well, we talked last night. You said 350, so
I dropped it because 350 sounds like 315. I wanted to make sure I articulated it well.
Okay. Look, if sign me up for that problem. Sign me up for that level of production, and one of the reasons we brought Caballero in was because of what we feel of him defensively, obviously what he brings on the base pass. He's got that ability to play short, like legit. So, if he kicks in the door and creates a level of competition, then so be it.
I was reading a story in The Athletic today about, the new strike zone challenge system, that they're, with this system, it takes away the high fastball. That pitch has been called the strike. It will not be called the strike anymore. Do you have any trepidation about this? Do you think that this takes away the value that you have with your catchers being so good at framing?
A little bit, but that's still going to come into play, because you're still talking about just a couple of challenges a game if you hold on to them. So I still think the skill is very important, and as some people in our front office have studied it over the last couple of years, like from the AAA standpoint and how it's been implemented, and what's the behavior, and what's the value of the catcher and things like that. That value is still very much there. So it's just going to be obviously a little bit different.
Now, you mentioned earlier in the interview, we're talking with Aaron Boone, the Yankee manager here on the show, that you admitted that the Blue Jays were your kryptonite last year. How do you correct that? I mean, they're a different team. They don't have Bo Bichette. They added some things. How do you correct that? You can't just build a team and a process to beat one team, but obviously they could be in your way. So is that something that you've addressed?
Hopefully we're better at preparing for them. Hopefully we're better at playing. Hopefully it times up better. Frankly, the two series we played there within a month of each other, was a rough time for us as a club, where we were kind of not whole, struggling to find our way, and we got beat up by them. I think we handled them at home in the two series we had, or at least won the two series, and then obviously got beat up. So it's a new year. We're confident we're going to have a really good club, and we also know that the East is always tough, and it seems like the Torontos and Boston and Baltimore should be, I think, going to really bounce back in a big way, and Tampa's always really good too. So I think the division is really challenging and really tough, and we're going to have to be our best to win this thing. But I also I'll take our chances with our guys.
So I don't know how much you let outside noise get into your brain, but you hear it. I mean, you're a human being. You hear it. You have a phone and you have a computer and you have an X, whatever. And it doesn't seem like Yankee fans are all that thrilled about this team. I mean, what do you say to fans that say, well, they're just running it back? How is that good enough? They haven't won a championship in so long. What do you say to them?
Well, I think we're better because the people that we added that weren't with our team the whole year last year are key parts of this club that I think make us a lot better. But it's no guarantees. Like, this is a prove it game, prove it sport, and the reality is we got to go out there and and look, at the end of the year, whether you win 95 games, 100 games, you're always going to pick parts of the schedule out that didn't go your way or you didn't play your best against, and it seems like every year it's different. Last year, obviously, is the Blue Jays. Other years, I hear we play down to our competition. We didn't beat the bad teams enough, or you didn't beat the good team. You win 100 games. I know what happens is you lose a lot of games too. So, I think we have a club capable of competing for the American League East, a very tough American League East. But again, it's February 2nd, and we have a long way to go to prove that we're that caliber team. And this is a new year, and we have to go prove that all over again.
Now, you have a great life, and you have a great family and all that, and this is your 9th year as a Yankee manager. But how much does it gnaw at you that you have not yet been the last team standing in your time as Yankee manager?
That's really the one and only huge thing that does gnaw at me when it comes to this. So it does. Working like heck to fix that and to change that. But I understand it's attached to me.
Do you marvel at what the Dodgers continue to do? Like, just keep adding on, and almost like they're like just rubbing it in people's face. I mean, you win a championship and you bring in Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz.
Yeah,
I know that's far away for you. If you meet them in the World Series, you have to feel good about things. But I mean, do you look from afar and go, "Wow"?
Yeah, I mean, it is remarkable. I also marvel at how well they've built their organization and from in every facet. They've done a really good job from player development to drafting to international to, the structure they have to obviously the financial might that they have. So, you got to tip your cap to what they've been able to do. And obviously winning back-to-back championships is I don't care what you spend, is no easy task. So, hopefully we're in a position to be one of those last two. And if it's them, hopefully we have that chance to knock them off.
All right. Final thing, as you head down to Tampa, this is a long road. I mean, this is the most arduous regular season of any sport, and your intention all the time is to be the last team standing. But does the long road that you look at as you head down to Tampa, does it just wear you out and go, oh, here we go, or do you look forward to it?
No. I look forward. It's all I know. It's even since I was a little kid and doing it with my dad as a kid. Like, you go down to spring training and it's time to start laying the foundation and building hopefully what turns into an amazing home and by the end. But it's it's who we are and certainly who I am, and I can't wait to get going on it.
Well, good luck. Have a safe trip down there. I will see you down there sometime in March, and I appreciate you giving us some time so you could talk to Yankee fans a bit.
Thanks, Michael. See you, bud.
You got it. That's Aaron Boone, Yankee manager. Nice enough of him to give us some time. So you heard what he had to say, how he feels about his team. Thoughts, hopes, dreams, 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. So he feels good about things, and of course he's going to say that, but I truly believe that he does. I do believe that he feels good. I don't think he's a guy that's shying away from they are running back last year's team. He loved last year's team. He did. And you heard at the beginning of the interview, he felt, okay, we stumbled against the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays are different. They might be just as good, but they certainly are different, and they have to solve the Blue Jays in some way, because the Blue Jays are in their way. The Red Sox will improve their pitching. They're in their way. Baltimore has got much better, also in their way. And as he also said, you can't discount the Tampa Bay Rays, who are very sneaky with the way they do business, and I don't mean sneaky in a nefarious way. They're just so good at playing the margin. So the East is going to be a beast, and then you see what comes out of the West and the Central. 1-800-919-3776. Let's talk about it. The K Show right here on ESPN New York.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter. Knicks fans, it's time for basketball, and the action starts on Wednesday at Pig Beach with Team ESPN New York and Ultra. Whether you need a pregame spot or you're looking for the right Knicks bar to watch the game versus the Nuggets, Pig Beach is your destination. The party tips off at 7 p.m. Team ESPN will be giving away plenty of ESPN, Ultra, and Knicks prizes. Join fellow Knicks fans on Wednesday night at 3537 36th Street, ground floor in Astoria. Cheer on your Knicks, enjoy Ultra draft and bottle specials, and cool prizes all game long at Pig Beach in Astoria.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player in the big game to score the first touchdown, but his teammate scores instead. With BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the big game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line with BetMGM's Second Chance. Try a first TD scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus years of age or older to wager and physically present in New York only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds.
Guys, quick PSA. Forgetting Valentine's Day flowers is not the move. Trust me. This is why I go to the Bouquet Company every time. Bouquet delivers modern bouquets fresh to her door. Plus, with my code CANTY, you get 25% off. Bouquet's flowers are cut fresh from the best farms in the world, so you get bigger, brighter blooms that last way longer. They've got incredible flowers, even roses grown on the side of a volcano. And the best part? Bouquet's makes it easy. Pick the bouquet, the delivery date, and you're done. No last-minute panic. That's why Bouquet's has over 50,000 five-star reviews. And listen, even if she says, don't get me anything, that doesn't mean no flowers. Flowers still score every time. Valentine's Day is February 14th, right after the big game, so don't fumble this. Order now. Go to Bouquets.com, use my promo code CANTY for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code CANTY. Bouquets, promo code CANTY.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Access to education changes lives. That's why National University provides flexible online and hybrid programs from associate to doctorate degrees. Since 1971, NU was built to serve non-traditional working and military learners nationwide. NU understands the demands of work, family, and service. Each year, more than 130,000 learners trust National University to move forward. Visit nu.edu to learn more.
Rich Eisen here. For small businesses, every hire counts, and so does your time. Hiring can quickly become overwhelming, from sorting applications to figuring out who's truly qualified. That's where LinkedIn Hiring Pro helps. It streamlines the process so you can focus on connecting with the right candidates, not managing the noise. Hire right the first time. Post your job and get $100 off towards your job post at linkedin.com/Eisen. That's linkedin.com/Eisen. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thank you so much on social media for all of the birthday wishes. Jody threw a little get-together for me yesterday, and I was so pleased that Dave Rothenberg and his lovely wife showed up. That was very, very sweet of them. Also, kind of illuminating that not one other person on the air at ESPN showed up. Not one. They all had excuses, whatever the case may be. Now, one of the big bosses showed up. That was kind of nice. Steve Policina. It was great to see him. But the only guy on air that showed up was Dave. I guess the guy I love, Rick, didn't want to go, and Don didn't want to go, and Peter and Alan. Yeah. Bart actually RSVP'd, yes, didn't show up. Chris Carlin didn't go. So at least, it's good to know on your birthday, you find out the real deal. So that was the real deal. So Dave Rothenberg, worked the room beautifully. It was terrific. It really was. He was just a gentleman and a scholar, and his wife was great. Sherry, good to see them. But, illuminating the other people, not one. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to the phones, everybody. Let's go to Jeff in Florida. Jeff.
Michael, happy belated birthday.
Belated? It's my birthday today.
Oh, it's today?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying yesterday. My bad. Well, happy birthday, Michael.
Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
I've been listening to you for years. I love that you're the voice of the Yankees, and you're so insightful. And, I wish I didn't have to be critical of the Yankees. I wish I could call and say, I'm so enthusiastic. I love the changes they've made, et cetera, et cetera. But, it really is running it back. Now, Aaron has to say, as you mentioned, he has to say what he says. I have no criticism of him. He can only manage the personnel he's given. But the thought that they're sticking with Volpe, Dominguez is not otherworldly. We thought he was from Mars, but he's not. The relief pitching is not good.
Let me stop you. Why do you say the relief pitching's not good? David Bednar is excellent.
I don't know. I don't trust him the way I trusted Yankee relievers in the past.
Did you trust David? Did you trust him more than Devin Williams?
Absolutely.
Okay, no so question. They've improved that, right?
I'm thrilled that they got sworn to Devin Williams. Thrilled.
That's
but
what?
All I'm saying, Mike, I'm thrilled that the Mets wanted Devin Williams, and he's over there, and he's not in the Bronx.
But it's funny, though, Jeff. You keep saying you're upset that they ran it back. They won 94 games last year. Only the Blue Jays won that many. The same. They won more games than anybody in the American League. So they run it back, and the team that they're starting the season with is much different and much better than the team they started last season with. It's the same that they ended it with. And you say you don't understand Volpe. Well, he's a homegrown player, and Kyle Tucker got $60 million a year from the Dodgers. And I'm not saying that Anthony Volpe scratches the surface of what Kyle Tucker is. Take a look at their home runs and RBIs from last year. Remarkably similar. They're not going to give up on a guy that quickly. All they want from him is to be the Gold Glove first baseman he was in the first year, and anything that they could get out of him better offensively than what he's given them, they'd be happy. And if it doesn't work out this year, then maybe George Lombard's next. Maybe Dax Kilby is next. Whatever the case may be. But you don't understand why they bring him back. He's a homegrown player. Doesn't make a lot of money. And all the fans that are upset they're running it back, once again, I'm beating this into the ground. They scored the most runs in the majors last year. They did. They had the most home runs in the majors. What's so bad about running it back? And you say Jason Dominguez isn't out of this world. He's not playing. There's no spot for him on this team. By bringing back Grisham and by bringing back Bellinger, he's a non-person. They're not going to keep him on the bench. He doesn't hit well right-handed. If he was a good right-handed hitter, then I could see him being on the bench. So he's either trade bait or he's going to start the season at AAA. He still has options. Same thing with Spencer Jones. But I don't. What did you want? What did you want? Oh, I want Bo Bichette. Well, why? Bo Bichette, I like him. He's right-handed. He doesn't strike out that much. But where would you put him on this team? There's no guarantee he could play third base well for the Mets. He's nowhere near the defender that McMahon is. You're not going to put him at second base. They like Jazz Chisholm, and he can't play short. He's not a good shortstop. So all the people that you wanted in the guy, they've got good pitching. They weren't going to sign Framber Valdez. Nobody has signed him yet. And they did make a pitch for Freddie Peralta to lengthen their rotation, but they think they're okay. I don't. You started off by saying, well, I hate to be negative. Well, but you are. When you look at the American League, just look at the American League. Don't look at the National League. Because right now the National League has the top of the National League is better than the top of the American League. When you look at the American League, who was so much better than the Yankees that you just don't think that they could get through it? Who? What team? What team? Seattle? Cleveland? Houston? Is Toronto insurmountable? The Red Sox? Look at the Red Sox infield and tell me you feel good about that. I know Red Sox fans don't feel good about it. I'm just not quite sure what you're aggravated about. The thing that you have to navigate is to get out of the American League. Tell me they can't get out of the American League. Tell me they can't. Henry in South Carolina. Henry.
Michael, I feel bad. I've been trying to remember the phrase that you say for birthday wishes, and I don't want to botch it. Can you tell me what it is?
May you live as long as you want, but never have to want as long as you live.
There it is. I couldn't get it right. Well, I wish you that today, my friend. Thank you for taking my call.
Well, thank you so much.
And to bounce off of what you're saying, I'm on this page right now. 98, 99, and 2000, 2001 are my favorite teams of any sports team, so continuity doesn't bother me, okay? It's totally it works for me, and we go back and forth on this. The free agent class did not present anybody that would really make any sense for the way the team works right now. And by the way, this is not the same team that we started with last year at all. We don't have to figure out a way to make DJ LeMahieu work. We don't have to start Marcus Stroman for 4 months and hope that that's okay.
And you don't have to put Jazz Chisholm at third.
Peraza or Pablo Reyes or any of these people hopefully work while we figure out the rest of the pieces. I think we're starting at a better place. The Dodgers have proven that if you have starting pitching depth that can come back midway through the season, if they're ready for the postseason, then that can carry you forward. That's exactly what they did last year, and that's what I'm hoping happens this year. And by the way, one last thing. I appreciate what you said about your Steve Tisch piece at the beginning of the show. The caller said it took some bravery to say what you said, but it's sad that it took bravery. That's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Henry. And I'll tell you what, I don't even accept compliments on that. I don't think it took bravery at all. I'm sitting on the radio. I have a forum, and I'm saying, you know what? It's disgusting that people associate it with Jeffrey Epstein and the things that he did and was actually pled guilty to. I don't think I'm going out on a limb. It's disgusting that anybody would have anything to do with him after he did what he did. Now, before you could say, well, you know what, maybe people didn't know. I think most people knew, and they associated with him. Disgusting. Children, trafficking children for your friends and for yourself and your own. That's not bravery on my part. That's just spitting truth. And anybody out there that thinks that is, in fact, controversial, what I said, then don't listen to me anymore. I don't want you to listen to me anymore. If what Jeffrey Epstein did is defensible in your mind, then turn the radio off. This is not the place for you. So no, I do not accept congratulations on saying something that to me is so blatant and so out there for any normal, self-standing human being No, you shouldn't be having relationships with 11, 12, and 13-year-olds. And you shouldn't be associating with somebody that was indicted for it. It's not hard. I don't feel like I'm going out on a limb. I think that most of my listeners would agree. It's an absolute disgrace. The names that you see that associated with him on a daily basis and dealt with him for favors, they should all be ashamed of themselves. And if there is something beyond this life, they're going to have a very hot time. If there's something beyond this life. But they obviously don't think there is, because you can't slip that under God's nose. I think God's going to see exactly what you did. So if there is an afterlife, you're going to burn in eternity. And you should. But just as a guard against that, if you don't believe that there's something after this, then they should all pay a big price in this life. Just saying. They should all pay a very big price in this life. And I don't think of myself as brave for saying it. Last call for football. FanDuel is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today's 30% profit boost is on passing yards, over-under, and alternate passing yards. Drake May versus the Seahawks defense. How many yards do you think he's going to throw for? You think Sam Darnold will continue to impress? Well, all you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Make cancer screening a part of your annual healthcare routine. New York Presbyterian offers a full range of cancer screenings, including lung, cervical, prostate, colorectal, breast, and more. Regular cancer screenings could save your life by detecting cancer at its earliest, most treatable stages. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester. Learn more at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Hi, I'm John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. You know what's interesting about the words personal injury? The first word is person. And at D'Agostino & Associates, that word means everything. That's because I handpick every person in our firm, from the pleasant professional person who answers your call to the experienced person litigating your case in court. Because every person in my firm is an extension of me, and the only way to exceed our clients' expectations is to deliver the highest level of personal service every single time. And that starts with hiring the right people. You see, we know that every client is a person too. Someone going through the toughest time in their lives and deserves to be more than just a file number. At D'Agostino & Associates, we put the person back in personal injury. So call 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222 and ask for me, John D'Agostino. And let's talk about your case, person to person. D'Agostino, law, bite back.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is making every moment of Super Bowl 60 count with DraftKings Live Millions, featuring over $5 million in prizes. Here's how it works. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and get your promo token. Place a live bet of $1 or more on the Super Bowl, and you're in. And every live bet means another shot to win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WHSQ. That's code WHSQ. Bet live for your share of $5 million in prizes with code WHSQ. In partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY and 467-369. 21 and over. New York only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Minimum odds minus 500. Prizes either bonus bets or single use 20% profit boost. Max bet $20 that expire in 30 days. See official rules at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for entry period and free method of entry. Sponsored by Crown Gaming Inc.
Benjamin Franklin, sir, I've just received news.
Speak.
They're multiplying you.
Multiplying me?
Yes, many times.
Multiple Benjamins?
Shall I stop it?
No.
Multiply your Benjamins with New York Lottery's extra multiplier scratch-off games. Play for the chance to multiply your winnings up to 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I've won! I've multiplied myself!
We won!
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737.
NBA fans don't just watch the game, they live it. So stream like you're courtside with NBA League Pass, your ticket to all the action. Watch your favorite team shine and catch the league's brightest stars and rising stars at the same time with multi-view on your favorite devices. From the plays you can't believe to the most live games and the drama that comes with it. If it happens on the court, it's happening on NBA League Pass.
Only select out-of-market games available. Blackout restrictions apply. Additional charges and other conditions may apply. Visit NBA.com/subscriber agreement for full terms and conditions.
So Knight Rider 169 actually put the Stathead baseball page on my X account between Anthony Volpe and Kyle Tucker. Now, Kyle Tucker is a much better player than Anthony. He is. So his WAR last year is 4.6. Anthony's was 1.6. Kyle played 136 games. Anthony played 153. Kyle Tucker, 22 home runs. Anthony, 19. Kyle Tucker, 73 RBIs. Anthony, 72. The batting average is obviously much in favor of Tucker, 266 to 212. On-base percentage, 377 to 272. So Anthony had a really bad year. Nobody's trying to put lipstick on a pig. But when you look at home runs and RBIs, they're pretty close. That's what's so startling. 22 to 19, 73 to 72. Would you ever have thought that? I didn't until somebody brought it to my attention. Anthony in Hilton Head. Anthony?
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday to you.
Please, not the whole song, please.
Really? Oh, come on. I was ready. I was into that.
You were very good, though, but thank you.
All right. Well, Mike, I love you. I just want to wish you a happy birthday. There's a story I want to share with you about the day I fell in love with you on the radio.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
It was the day that Yogi Berra died, and you told the story about he used to play cards with Phil Rizzuto. And it got me. It got me hard. You couldn't keep it together on the radio, and I couldn't keep it together in the car. And it was in that moment where I knew you were my guy. Thank you for all you do, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Anthony. It's funny you brought that up because I've told that story a couple of times, and I'm not going to tell it right now. Every time I tell it, I can't keep it together. I just can't. I can't keep it together. It's such a beautiful example of friendship, and that's what Anthony's talking about. Like Yogi would come. Phil was at the end living in an assisted living facility, and Yogi would come every day and play cards with him every day and would hold his hand as he fell asleep. That's friendship. That's absolutely true love. Let's go to Joe in the Bronx. Joe.
Hey, how's it going, Michael? Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
All right, two quick things. One, I think it would be a great thing to bring back Goldschmidt if he could accept a smaller role, pinch hitting against lefties and defensive replacement at first. And then second, something about Jazz. Obviously, and I know that home run's king, but the things I would do for Jazz to cut down his home runs by, let's say, 10 and just focus on getting on base, maybe up his on-base percentage by like 30 points. He would be such a better player. He'd be literally the perfect leadoff hitter because, he's amazing on the base pass also.
It's funny you bring that up, Joe.
His steals would go up.
the Yankees think they have the perfect leadoff hitter in Grisham. I mean, he has a .350 on-base percentage, and he hit 34 home runs. I mean, Ricky Henderson is not alive anymore, so that type of leadoff hitter doesn't exist. They don't want Jazz to lose 10 home runs. They want him to probably get 40 rather than 30. Yeah, you'd like him to make more contact. You'd like him to be a little bit more disciplined at times, but they don't want to change him to the point that he would drop 10 home runs to be a 20 home run guy. Do you know how rare it is to have a 30-30 guy at second base? He's also a really good defender. He'll have occasional lapses in judgment, but he's got a good glove at second base. He was a little shaky at third, but still had a plus outs above average. And his defensive rating was pretty decent, but you could see he struggled. He doesn't struggle that much at second base. So, yeah, would you like his on-base percentage higher? But not at the expense of 10 home runs. There's just no way. You just don't want that. Yankee and Met fans, I don't know how you're going to deal with it. I don't know how you're going to deal with it in terms of the angst. You look at the Yankees have Aaron Judge playing in the WBC. Every at-bat, every throw from the outfield, you're going to hold your breath. And the Mets announced today that Juan Soto is going to play for the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. Every at-bat, every throw, every run to first base, you're going to hold your breath. Both New York teams, because of their stars playing in an exhibition series, their season's on the line. If either one of those guys get hurt playing in a game not for the team, your season's over. I keep reading like, well, the Yankees aren't good without Judge. Well, no kidding. And the Mets wouldn't be good without Soto. No kidding. When you lose your best player, you're not going to be as good. And the Yankees have to hold their breath, and the Mets have to hold their breath for probably 2 weeks until they get those guys safely back in Tampa and Port St. Lucie. I love the WBC. I just don't love the risk. I just don't love the risk. It's too much of a risk for my best players to be playing essentially exhibition games. Well, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg coming up in just a moment. A lot for them to discuss. We'll be back again tomorrow at 1, so join us at that time. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Talk to you tomorrow at 1.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car